Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Elaine Kirkham, and I am a senior lecturer and postgraduate course leader in the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. Welcome to everyone. Before we start the formal proceedings, we would like to run through what will happen during the ceremony so that you can make the most of your special day. Graduands should remain in their allocated seats until they are asked to move towards the steps at the right-hand side of the stage by the marshals. If there are any graduands who are not in the seats shown on the ticket that they were given when they registered, please make yourselves known now to the ushers in the blue gowns. As your name is read out, you will make your way onto the stage. The traditional process of conferring a degree is to shake hands with the presiding officer. You will walk across the stage, shake hands with the Dean of Faculty, and then continue across the stage and shake hands with the Vice Chancellor and turn to have your photograph taken. If, for faith reasons, you prefer not to shake hands, we would ask that you keep your hands at your sides. You will then walk down the steps, collect your certificate and your commemorative folder, and return to the seat guided by the ushers. We do ask that graduands make us aware of any mobility issues that they have prior to the ceremony, but if anyone thinks they will have difficulty negotiating the steps or walking across the stage, please do let the ushers know now. We will now start the formal proceedings. Just before the procession enters the auditorium, there are a few domestic arrangements that I would like to run through with you now. Firstly, in the case of an emergency and should an evacuation of the building become necessary, you are asked to leave in an orderly fashion by the nearest available exit. Ushers will guide you to the appropriate exit, and please do not re-enter the building unless you are told it is safe to do so. Smoking is not permitted in the auditorium, and you are also asked to kindly turn off all mobile phones for the full duration of the ceremony. Photography and the use of video cameras during the ceremony is allowed. All we would politely ask, however, is that when using cameras and video recorders, you remain in your place and do not stand in the aisles. This is requested in order to comply with fire safety regulations. It is expected that the ceremony will last for approximately 60 to 90 minutes. At the close of the ceremony, you will be asked to stand while the procession leaves the auditorium. The graduates will follow the procession. Guests, please do remain in your places during this time. And please be aware that the entrance to the theatre leads directly onto a bus route, so please do take care when leaving. Following the ceremony, you and your guests are welcome to join your peers and those gathered on the stage here today at a post-ceremony drinks reception in the university's Harrison Library. Photographs after the ceremonies will now take place under the Alumni Association Arch in the City Campus courtyard. These are free, and we encourage you to make the most of this opportunity to get some final photos in your cap and gown, either individually or with family members, friends, and your fellow graduates. And don't forget to share all of your photographs and your new memories on Instagram, Twitter, and other social media using the hashtag WLVGrad. Finally, as a courtesy to all of those present, we would be most grateful if you could remain in your seats for the full duration of the ceremony. Please do not leave the auditorium during the ceremony unless it is absolutely necessary to do so. The finalists will be presented individually, and you can find the finalist names in the center of the graduation booklet. Please do warmly applaud each finalist when they come onto the stage. We hope that you have a most enjoyable day with us. Now, can I ask you to please stand for the ceremonial procession? Thank you.
Please be seated. Graduates, award winners, honoured guests, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ben Reid, and as chair of this afternoon's proceedings, may I welcome you to this graduation ceremony for the conferment of awards from the University of Wolverhampton Business School. I would first like to welcome you, our distinguished class of 2019. It is to recognise your graduation that we are all here today, to celebrate with you. Seated behind me are members of academic staff and invited guests to the school, and also guests of the wider university community. I would particularly like to extend a warm welcome to the Mayor of Telford and Wrekin, Councillor Stephen Reynolds. The ceremony will begin with the awarding of an honorary degree. We'll then have the presentation of graduates. Each graduate will be called across the stage to be presented to the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Jeff Layer, with special mention being made of any prizes or academic distinctions. Please join us in applauding the achievements of each student as they become graduates of the University of Wolverhampton. I hope that you all have a most enjoyable afternoon. I now call upon the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Jeff Layer, to address you.
Good afternoon. Before I move on to my main address, this is our first graduation ceremony of this particular period of 2019. And at this ceremony, we formally acknowledge that Ben Reid, OBE, chair of this ceremony and chair of our governance, has been bestowed with the title of Pro-Chancellor of the University of Wolverhampton. The role of Pro-Chancellor is of significant importance. They act as ambassadors for the university, representing the university's interests and furthering our aims and profile locally, nationally, and globally. Prior to retirement, Ben was Group Chief Executive of the Mid-Counties Cooperative Society for 30 years, a former director of the Cooperative Group and of the Cooperative Banking Group. Recently appointed as chair of the Shrewsbury and Telford Hospitals NHS Trust, and has previously held non-executive appointments as the chair of the Walsall Healthcare Trust, the chair of the Dudley and Walsall Mental Health NHS Trust, and senior level responsibilities within the Lincolnshire Health Authority. He's also currently a board member of the International Cooperative Alliance. Ben's previous roles include the chair of the West Midlands Learning and Skills Council, the chair of the West Midlands Regional Assembly, and chair of various regeneration bodies, particularly in Walsall. Ben has made a significant contribution to the University of Wolverhampton during his time on our board, and his appointment as Pro-Chancellor, as well as his role as chair of the board, will enable Ben to represent and act as champion of the university. So today, we formally acknowledge and recognise Ben Reid as a Pro-Chancellor of the university. Honoured guests, Mayor of Telford, delighted to see you as usual. Nice for you to be here. Ladies and gentlemen and graduates and families and friends, welcome to this University of Wolverhampton graduation ceremony. It's a real privilege to be here to meet with you, our graduates, and your families on this day of celebration. You know, graduates, graduation is a really special time. This is about you. This is about celebrating what you have achieved. And you need to be proud. Proud of your dedication, proud of everything you've achieved, and proud of all the life experiences you've gained along the way. Today, you're collecting your graduate awards. You have marked this with tremendous success. And that is a major achievement. And there are many people here that you will wish to thank, and you'll be able to do that appropriately. But graduation is also a time to reflect and to think about what you have done and what you may wish to do next and how you may wish to do it. Because you are graduating from a particular university at a particular time in this country's history. And you graduate from a university with a rich and illustrious history that dates back to 1827, when our forefathers in Wolverhampton established the Wolverhampton Mechanics Institute at a time of the first industrial revolution, where this great industrial conurbation was shaping the nature of the UK, Europe, and the world. Where we moved from an agrarian society to an industrialized society, where nobody in the world had ever worked in a factory before. The Mechanics Institute was developed and designed to do two things. One was to develop the workforce at the time so they're equipped with the skills that were required by the employers. The second was a tremendous value that our Victorian forefathers had in the value of education. And it was about providing opportunity for all to study and to learn. And in 1835, in the Wolverhampton Free Library, we taught people to read and write. And that is a mark of what this university stands for. It is about the development of vocational education and about providing opportunity to all those who can benefit from it. And we're proud of that heritage, which goes back nearly 200 years. We've grown since then. Today, we're a university with over 23,000 students across a range of campuses, all within this local and regional area. Now, higher education, what you have studied, has four key purposes and four key roles. And those roles are, first of all, the pursuit of individual academic excellence. And that's what you've done. That's what you've achieved. And that's what my colleagues have helped you do. The second is to prepare the workforce for the future. And again, that is what we have done through our curriculum and through our work with you, giving you opportunities to develop entrepreneurship and employability skills, giving you the chance to develop in a range of curriculum-based projects that focus on the real world. And thirdly, it is to pursue the frontiers of knowledge and discovery. And that is our research. And the business school has world-class research and is regarded nationally and internationally as having world-class research, which focuses on the changing patterns of different aspects of corporate life. And the fourth function is about ensuring that we help to shape a civil, democratic, and inclusive society. So they're the roles of higher education, and that's what's really important about how we try to take things forward. Now, we have focused very much over the last few years on how we can shape those opportunities for you. We, as a university, are an anchor institution within the Black Country and the surrounding area. And that means that we have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to enable individuals to access education. We have a responsibility to enable them to enter the world of work. So we've focused over the last few years on how we can achieve that. And we've invested in our people through having more academic staff and more teaching staff. We've focused on our place, how we can transform some of the things that we do, how we can give the latest in cutting edge technology, and how we focused on improving business competitiveness. Once we as a university established to serve the needs of the first industrial revolution, today we are focused on the needs of the fourth industrial revolution, the digital revolution, the revolution that is changing many things that you will do. You see, this university was the first university in the country to have a computer, a mainframe computer. And there's a story about how computing worked all those years ago. That computer was within a room that people took information to. And it was printed out after a couple of days of digesting the information onto cards and computer printout paper. And that's what we did in the 1960s when we were one of the first universities to develop degrees in computer studies. Today, we're sat in a room where many of you have got at least one computer in your pocket or your bag. That is the way in which society has changed, in which the nature of society has changed. And that is very much about the fourth industrial revolution. And we, in looking at that revolution, focus very much on cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and the way in which we change all our learning platforms. And we have visions about how we can change. You see, within the area that you live and work, there is a particular issue of a shortage of NHS healthcare professionals in our hospitals. And one of the things the university is determined to do is to remove the gap in the number and the supply of healthcare professionals. That's all about creating a different type of society and a different type of economy. But we've invested elsewhere. You, as students from the business school, have the benefit of the Lord Suage Paul building and its wonderful chairs on wheels that you can organize and structure into forms of different learning patterns. Major investment looking at entrepreneurship and enterprise. In Walsall, we've developed new health suites for nursing skills and provision. At Telford, we've developed Formula 3 racing, motor engineering, and we're developing engine test facilities that fit Formula 1 standards for our students to test on their machinery. Down the road is the major development of the Springfield campus, where we will focus on the built environment, construction, surveying, and architecture, all about seeking to change the nature of what is available to people within the city of Wolverhampton and the broader region. And those investments mean one thing, that we've put significant time, facilities, resource, and energy into ensuring that our students get a better deal than they had. And that's why you, in the National Student Survey, which is conducted by Ipsos Mori, have ranked this university in your experience here at the highest level it ever has been. That's why you are graduating from a university that has the highest levels of graduate employment that it's ever had. And that's about the nature of what we do. Our research as a university focuses on key and significant areas, ranging from cancer research, ranging through cybersecurity, corporate governance, building maintenance, engineering and mechanical developments, to name but a few. And they're all cutting edge. But one of them, which I pick out, is about how we wish our society to move forward. Because and you'll have seen the TV programs and you'll have read about it. One of our major issues today is the amount of single-use plastic. And that's why we commissioned a range of research to actually see how we can get that plastic out of the ocean beds, how we can improve the ocean beds, and how we can educate all our systems and processes to remove single-use plastic. But we pride ourselves mostly on you. You see, you are some of the leaders of the future. You will all be leaders in one form or another. And that brings with it a tremendous sense of responsibility and accountability. And one of the things we've focused on is developing you as an individual with the skills of leadership, through problem-solving skills, through communication skills, through your analytical skills, your ability to work in teams and in groups. And you are going to move into that type of leadership role. And you have to remember the words of Nelson Mandela, that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. That's part of your responsibility. But you haven't stopped learning. You will never stop learning. A leader never does. You will go through processes, you will go through systems, and you will always continually be learning. And that is one of the key things that you have as a graduate. You have the ability to reflect, to think, and to resolve a number of things. You will make mistakes. The key thing is to reflect on why, how you made the mistake, and to move on. Learn the lesson. You also, though, need to be ambitious. We are a very ambitious university. Our greatest ambition is for you. And we want you to be ambitious for the person who you're sat next to. We want you to be ambitious for your family, for your community, for the workforce that you're engaged in. Most of all, we want you to be ambitious for yourself. Now, we also want you to stay in touch with us. We want to hear about your successes. We want to hear about the things that you've done. So please, please join our Alumni Association and stay in touch with us. We're determined to stay in touch with you, and we know where you live. So stay in touch. But I leave you with a particular message, which is about the university that you graduate from. It's our vision, it's our values, it's our ethos. You must search for every opportunity open to you. Take every opportunity given to you. And most of all, provide every opportunity you can for others. By doing that, you carry on with the long history and heritage of the university that you graduate from. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice-Chancellor. I now call upon Claire Schofield, Director of the University of Wolverhampton Business School, to present Mike Kendrick for the conferment of an honorary degree of Doctor of Technology.
Do you want to give me a speech?
Vice-Chancellor, I am honoured to present Mike Kendrick, upon whom the Board of Governors and the Academic Board wish to confer an honorary degree of Doctor of Arts. Mike Kendrick is co-founder and Chief Executive Officer of Straight Line Aviation, and he is an official living legend. That status is not only because of what he has achieved in his life, where he can count Sir Richard Branson, Brad Pitt, and the late Nelson Mandela as friends, but because he is one of a small number of people that has been inducted into the prestigious Living Legends of Aviation. But where did it all begin? Mike was born in 1946 in a prefabricated bungalow in Wolverhampton, and he grew up on a council estate in the 1950s. Endeavour and the ability to make the impossible possible was bred into Mike from his father, who worked in an aircraft factory. But he also supplemented his income by playing the piano in pubs, and he subsequently decided to open a talent agency, Midland Entertainment Agency. When Mike left school, he joined the company, booking bands like Slade and the Kinks to play at the Hippodrome and other Midland venues. A keen marketer and businessman since his youth, Mike would print 3 times the number of programmes needed for the shows he booked, with a lucky number in the back, entitling the winner to go backstage to meet the stars, to sell more, turning a huge profit in the process. Eventually, Mike began working in public relations. This is when his love affair with hot air ballooning began, and he expertly combined the two to launch his first company, Lighter Than Air. It was through this business that he met and became friends with Sir Richard Branson, going on to mastermind the Virgin Group founders' round-the-world balloon attempts. Together with record-breaking balloonist Pearl Lindstrand from Oswestry, they pioneered early high-altitude balloon flights, at one time flying in an open basket at 45,000 feet. In 1988, with Branson, he formed the Telford-based Virgin Airship and Balloon Company, which became the largest aerial advertising company in the world, operating over 180 aircraft in some 30 countries, with clients such as Goodyear, Budweiser, MetLife and Sanyo. Mike also introduced balloons and airships to many places that had never seen them before, including the first passenger flights over the Valley of the Kings in Egypt. Over the years, they came up with countless PR stunts, including making a balloon in the shape of a UFO, which consisted of a saucer shape with 3,000 lights around it, and had a basket actually inside the balloon to make it look more authentic. Mike revolutionised the business, aviation and marketing worlds, and more recently has launched a charity and raised millions for amputees. Mike has worked closely with the actor Brad Pitt, who was a patron of the charity, and the late Nelson Mandela, who was a founding member, while Sir Richard Attenborough remains a supporter. The Mind Seekers Foundation, dedicated to the detection, identification, and removal of landmines across the globe, was founded and launched by Mike in 2000. The charity also launched the Soul of Africa campaign to help the communities affected by landmines. The charity uses technology developed by the British Ministry of Defence, licensed to Mineseeker to help detect mines in an instant. Earlier this year, Mike was inducted into the prestigious Living Legends of Aviation, joining the likes of John Travolta and Buzz Aldrin. The Living Legends of Aviation organisation celebrates remarkable people of extraordinary accomplishment in the aerospace industry, including entrepreneurs, innovators, industry leaders, astronauts, record breakers, pilots who become celebrities, and celebrities who become pilots. Mike was officially inaugurated at a ceremony in Salzburg, Austria, conducted by Airbus Chief Executive Tom Enders, and joins a coveted group of over 100 worldwide with Elon Musk, Tom Cruise, Harrison Ford, and Sir Richard Branson. He was inducted into the Legends Group after a nomination from Sir Richard, and following a lifetime in the balloon and airship industry, which started in the early 70s, when we brought about a change in the law to allow advertising on aircraft. This gave birth to the global aerial advertising market and the familiar sight of advertising balloons and airships seen worldwide today. Mike is now spearheading work with his company Straight Line Aviation on the introduction of a revolutionary heavy lift hybrid airship designed to transport cargo and passengers to remote parts of the world and engineered to use less fuel, emit less carbon dioxide, and eliminate the need for costly ground level infrastructure. The company has attracted interest from the oil, gas, and mining industries. The contribution to aviation made by Mike is truly remarkable and inspiring, particularly in the light of the air sector. As a keen balloonist himself, Mike has set several aviation world records and project managed many of Sir Richard's high-profile ballooning world record attempts, including a crossing of the Pacific and an attempt to fly around the world. A bout of illness created space for Mike to devote to writing his memoirs, which he did with Simon Golding. The finished work was published as Thursday's Child, which was the name of the first hot air balloon he ever bought. When you read Mike's book and speak to him in person, you recognise that he's not a person to take no for an answer. He breaks the rules and he strives to be the first. He is entrepreneurial, generous, and a truly inspirational person. Vice-Chancellor, it gives me great pleasure to present to you Mike Kendrick for the conferment of an honorary degree of Doctor of Arts from the University of Wolverhampton.
Thank you very much. Vice-Chancellor, Chair, distinguished guests, senior members of the university, graduates, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for this incredible honour. I've received some honours before, but breaking world records and being heralded by my aviation peers is one thing, but it means so much more to be honoured by the city in which I grew up. It really does, and I thank you for that. Now, unlike most of you here today, particularly those sitting in the front rows, when I went into business, I would have liked to be armed with the great knowledge that is available to the students today. Instead, I had to think outside the box and make my own rules. I can't say that I was expelled from school because it's not technically correct, but I was invited to leave when I was 15, with a little note that I never showed my parents. So instead, I had to think outside of the box and create opportunities as I went along. You can all do this, and you have the platform of great knowledge, which I really, really envy. I wish I'd have achieved what you did at your age. So congratulations to you all. So I would urge you to become empowered by your academic achievements, but please don't be confined by them. If you have entrepreneurial instincts, follow them and back your own judgment. The most important asset, in my opinion, is to be able to make decisions and not be afraid to get them wrong. If you look at my history, I've done a lot of wrong things, but I've done some things right as well. And I always say to all my staff and members of my company, make a decision. Don't ask me all the time, because if you make a decision, you've got a 50-50% chance of being right. If you make no decision, you're 100% wrong. Make the decision. Some will be good, some will be bad, but making a wrong decision is as good educationally as making a right one. Don't be afraid of it. We all do it. So what happened with me is I was driving in the PR industry. I was driving to a client meeting and I saw a hot air balloon in 1972, and it was blocking the roads because everybody was looking at it, particularly the motorway. And that balloon was called Thursday's Child. I immediately thought that this could be an asset to advertising, and I was going to a client meeting and asked them what they thought. They agreed with me, and so I went as a young PR man and I bought Thursday's Child, the balloon. Of course, I had no money in those days to pay for it, so I had to find a sponsor to actually pay for the balloon for me. So I contracted Dudley Zoo and asked them to sponsor it. Well, that was all very well, but then I discovered, again, a wrong decision, that it was illegal to advertise on balloons. You just weren't allowed to do it. So I set about changing the law. It was a long process, but we succeeded before I ran out of money. And the way we did this, I knew that airlines like British Airways could put their name on, Virgin Atlantic. So why couldn't I put our name on a balloon? Well, the Board of Trade said you could only put the charterer or hirer by demise. In other words, it could only be the name of a limited company. So I formed lots of limited companies. I formed a company called That's the Wonder of Woolworths Limited that went on the balloon. And I Nivea Out of the Blue Limited, and I put that on the balloon. And Milk's Got a Lot of Bottle Limited, which I also put on the balloon. All the time arguing with the aviation authorities and the Board of Trade. And it wasn't until I registered a company called Everest Double Glazing. Receive a free brochure, no representative will call Limited, that we actually managed to change the law. And that's where the birth of modern day commercial ballooning came from. And of course, following that, we then built product replicas like Cadbury's Cream Eggs, RAC vans, aeroplanes, Sonic the Hedgehog, all sorts of balloons that could handle a brand. And I soon learned that flying anything that flew was retained in the memory of people that viewed it. And we did a lot of research to find out why, but it was true. The retention was very high on flying objects. So we worked with Pepsi-Cola, Virgin, Lloyds Bank, Orange, and we built over 200 aircraft flying all around the world, became an instant success. I then took on airships, which were a very different thing. There were only 3 of them in the world at that time, and they were all grey, and so there was no point in flying them at night because they couldn't be seen. So what I did is I developed a technology that internally illuminated the balloons so they could be seen at night, and often mistaken for UFOs. So they were brightly lit at night. But then how could I get TV cameras to look at them and obtain exposure for our clients? So what I did is I took an airship to an American football game, night game. Most of them were. That's why it needed to be illuminated. And alongside the Budweiser branding, underneath on what we call the belly banner, I produced a banner that said, NCB cameramen are the sexiest men on the planet. And of course, the cameras went up and he looked at it, and we got 30 seconds of exposure at peak time on American television worth about $2 million. So that's how we broke the mold. We then put cameras on all our airships and a live feed from all the games, all the golf games with MetLife, and all the football games in America, the Premier Match games here in the UK, and we did a constant live feed that the networks could take at any time, providing they agreed that it looked up at the balloon for 10 seconds, 3 times every hour. And therefore, it established the industry as a very rewarding piece of marketing. We did some incredible things with airships, and we monitored the exposure continually and achieved more than twice the amount that the clients would have achieved on ordinary television advertising. That's what broke the rules. But of course, it had to be verified. And I educated myself, because I hadn't had your wonderful education, into the brand values and marketing principles of media techniques. That was knowledge was fundamental to the success of my company. But my instinct was to disrupt the industry and change the rules. And it worked. Of course, we used the most outrageous ploys to attract press attention. As Professor Clare said, we flew an airship over London, which was built just like a flying saucer. I put 300 strobe lights on it and a computer on board, so it looked as though it was spinning. And we flew it at dawn across London. We got Chris Tarrant from Capital Radio to build an action desk, and it went viral in about an hour and a half, and the whole country and then the whole world was talking about it. In the basket, of course, was Richard as well. And eventually we had to land because they closed down Gatwick, which was never my intention, but it made a wonderful story. Eventually the police came into the field where the balloon landed, and Richard was wearing an ET mask, which he took off, and that huge grinning face and beard. And the police said, "Oh no, it's you." Well, they said, "You've committed an offence. Who's the owner of this aircraft?" And Richard, being the close friend that he is, said, "It's him, Mike." So I was dutifully arrested, but I hadn't actually broken the law. We hadn't flown into any airspace, but they treated it like a very serious UFO intrusion, and it made wonderful news. And we were on the lookout for that all the time. For example, we took Richard to break the world water skiing record behind an airship, which is quite technically difficult to do. And I chose to do that because of the exposure on a program called Baywatch with Pamela Anderson and that tall, handsome fellow, that name I never mention. So it was a wonderful, wonderful piece of exposure. And there wasn't such a thing as a record for being towed behind an airship. So we just invented one, and it's still in the Guinness Book of Records. Nobody's broken it since. So also, for those, most of you are too young to remember, but there was a big feud going on with British Airways and Richard Branson at the time, Virgin. And British Airways had built the London Eye, which was floating on the River Thames, and they had to erect it. And they're having great difficulty doing this. So we took an airship over London and over the Eye with the words, "BA can't get it up." All of the TV stations looked at it, and again, it was terrific exposure. So it's just by breaking the rules, that's what I did, but not actually breaking them, just bending them and being determined to follow the instinct, which is I urge all of you to do. We then set world records flying across the Atlantic with Richard, and then the Pacific, and then our attempts to fly around the world. Very, very technical. In fact, the most technical projects undertaken in aviation at that time, but very exciting too, and highly dangerous. It was fun. It was exhilarating, but there were more important and serious sides of the business. We'd built our airship fleet in 5 years up to 20 airships. So there were 23 airships in the world, 20 of which belonged to us, all carrying advertising, and they still do now. Then we discovered that our airships could carry a sensor that could discover hidden landmines beneath the surface of the Earth. And I formed the Mineseeker Foundation and asked Nelson Mandela to become a patron, as well as Queen Noor and Brad Pitt and Lord Attenborough, people like that. It was I was put onto that by Lady Diana, Princess Diana at the time, who was very keen on helping landmine victims and getting rid of landmines. It's a terrible problem. There are 70 million of them beneath the Earth on our planet, particularly in Africa. And what happens is that every 20 minutes, someone stands on one of these landmines, usually women and children, and it blows their leg off or kills them. So we had a mobile dispensary fitting prosthetic limbs to these victims. While I was doing that, Nelson Mandela asked me if any of our technology could help with another problem, particularly in Africa, although other parts of the world as well, which was animal poaching. A little outside of my area, but I developed it. And unfortunately, we lost Madiba, Nelson Mandela, before he could see the results of this. But we came up with a way of protecting rhino horns, which we just launched. And Joanna Lumley has just become our patron. And basically, we took the problem, turned it upside down, and said, why do people steal these horns? Well, the answer was the horns were worth more than gold or marijuana, and no one was ever caught. So if we could devalue those horns, then it would take the initiative and stop people wanting to kill them. And of course, if we could introduce a way of catching the poachers, it would also deter them. Poachers want to get rich, but they don't want to get caught. So we infuse we anesthetize the rhinos, infuse the horn with a toxin, which is dyed bright red and unfit for human consumption. So now, if the Far East, if you take one of these horns that we've treated, it'll poison you. It won't kill you. Not that I care much, but it won't kill you. It'll make you ill. And we also infuse it with a DNA, a specific DNA for every single rhino. So now we know what rhino it came from, who owns the rhino, what park it was poached in, and you can't take it through an airport because it's got the DNA in with a marker, which is ultraviolet light. And touch wood, since we started this 2 years ago, we haven't lost a rhino to poaching. So we're now moving on to elephants. So Nelson Mandela, I told him it was very difficult to do this, and he said, and it's always something that I live by, he said, it always seems impossible until you've done it. And that's the mantra I live by. So, Professor Clare, thank you very much for mentioning Thursday's Child. That is a book, and I'm an opportunist. As Professor Clare mentioned it, I'll just remind you that it's available on Amazon. It's well, I will tell you one thing, it's very rude and it's very honest. All the proceeds go to cancer research, of which I am also a victim. But there's a lot of rude words in it. Well, I'm sure most of you won't mind that, but I don't apologize for it, because when you're doing things like taking Ozzy Osbourne for a balloon ride, you can't write about that story without using the word, forget it, you know what I mean. And it's a very honest book. And people quote a lot of people, great statesmen with wonderful words in these ceremonies. So I'm going to do the same. So for closing, I would just quote the words of Nuno Espirito Santo. And those are, up the wolves. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mike. I now call upon Dr. Janet Firth, Head of Department of Human Resources and Leadership, to present newly conferred member of the University Professoriate and the award winners to the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Jeff Layer.
Vice-Chancellor, I present to you Yong Wang, Professor in Family Business and Entrepreneurship. Vice-Chancellor, I present to you award winners from the Faculty of Social Sciences. Master of Science, Human Resource Development in Organisational Change, Cameldeep, Atwell. Master of Science, International Business Management, Mariah Noaz. Master of Science, International Business Management Extended, Monica Singh. Postgraduate Diploma Management, Farhan Abdi Mohammed. Master of Business Administration with Distinction, Edwin Edmundo Freire Calero. With Merit, Leonora Tui Yeboah. Bachelor of Arts with Honours Business and Accounting, Selina Ahmed. With First Class Honours, Benedict Opong Bamfo. Pavan Preet Kaur Daliwal. Rebecca Lorraine Doody. Arandeep Gill. Jalaldin Hamad. With First Class Honours, Adam Ibrahim. Mohammed Shah. Nelson Vaz Happily. Brian Zulu. Bachelor of Science with Honours, Business and Finance, Emma Jane Davis. With First Class Honours, Ume Farwa. Shalkio Alexandra Gasper is Isaac. Manaf Hizam. Chad Alexander Hercombe. With First Class Honours, Mohammed Aminur Islam. Deep Core. Shabab Kahil. With First Class Honours, Surinder Panesar. Osman Rafiq. Delight Ogenhenhu Fere Temile. With First Class Honours, Uwaz Zahir. Bachelor of Arts with Honours, Business and Human Resource Management, Sabir Mohammed Abdul Aziz. Hamza Kaiser Ali. With first class honours, Emily Brantford Jones. Sini Helena Christine Crowther. Amrit Kaur Dillon. Daniel Johnson Hyde. With first class honours, William Lowe. Contilda Office. Bachelor of Arts with honours, Business and Marketing Management, Abdal Madlob, Albrock Muz, Almadem. Genesis Balagan. With first class honours, Chris Bubanga. Pooja Kogna. With first class honours, Chloe Rebecca Harris. Kieran Hussain. Shanice Islam. With first class honours, Anisha Joshi. With first class honours, Nathan Patterson. Karina Sahota. With first class honours, Dominic Andre Smith. With first class honours and winner of the University of Wolverhampton Business School Dissertation Prize, Business and Marketing Management, Nisha Kaur Ubi. Bachelor of Arts with honours, Business Management, Nadeem Hassan. Zara Akhtar. Hassan Hamed Hamadi. Hira Assad. Manish Bazantani. With first class honours, Gemma Louise Bridgewater. Ashley Britton. No Man But. Awil Kabdi. With first class honours, Jaspal Singh Chung. Babukar Donde. Jeremiah Edwards Collins. With first class honours and winner of the Chancellor's Prize, Kelly Fairfield. Mandip Garcha. Apayemi Christiana Gumbenku. Charlotte Emily Gee. Randeep Kaur Gill. Denise Gomez. With first class honours, Elizabeth Faye Gregg. With first class honours, Liam Harding. Nahid Hermes. Thomas Andrew Higgs. With first class honours, Lynette Maxine Hooper. Idris Hussain. Hasnan Islam. Ross Johnston. Tabor Campbell. Ali Raza Kiani. James Kibocha. Paulina Marlena Coxey. Winner of the University of Wolverhampton Business School Prize for Progressive Improvement to Performance, Gobinder Mann. Tarandeep Mishana. Ansar Mir. Joshua Moncrief. With first class honours, Priya Patel. With first class honours, Georgia Perry. Talha Raza. With first class honours, Jake Roberts. Samira Shaheen. Faiza Sheikh. Christopher James Smith. Tanya Suman. With first class honours, Manpreet Tak. Sharika Thomas. Adam Toure. Takuchu Fidelis Ugwu. Anamika Verma. Spencer Webb. With first class honours, Georgina Jessie Ann Whitaker. Jessica Williams. With first class honours, Joseph Woodall. Bachelor of Arts, Business Management, Belal Ahmed. Danvir Bogota. Shinomi Clark Bryant. Pavita Kiture. Luke McGee. Mohammed Noman. Akash Patel. Mohammed Hassan Rahman. Bachelor of Arts with Honours, Business Manage Economics, Alice Reed. Bachelor of Arts with Honours, Business Manage Enterprise, Rosemary Chapra Dazra. With first class honours, Grace Bethany Churchill. With first class honours, Clifford Hunt. Akachukwu Friday Kalu. Asif Ahmed Khan. With first class honours and winner of the Jerry Fowler Prize, Lauren Ellie McGowan. With first class honours, Meera Gibe Patel. Mevish Sangur. Rajvinder Singh. With first class honours, Abby Whitehouse. Bachelor of Arts with Honours, Business Management Finance, Jack Daniel Mays. Oluwakemi Diamond Obisesan. Bachelor of Arts with Honours, Business Management Human Resources, Manpreet Kaur. Omaima Tariq. Bachelor of Arts with Honours, Business Management, having satisfactorily completed a sandwich placement, Axel Michael Robert Barber. Rabika Begum. Samazani Salumu. Higher National Diploma, Business awarded by the University of Wolverhampton, Andre Brown Chambers. Wajed Chowdhury. Sendame Dubey. With distinction, Nay Kebe Samangari. Antonio Palmer. Thank you. Bachelor of Arts with Honours, Business and Marketing Management, Ruth Junior Bobby Ansar. Bachelor of Arts with Honours, Business and Marketing Management, Brett Akenten. Bachelor of Arts with Honours, Business Management Marketing, Blessing Junaid. Bachelor of Arts with Honours, Business Management Enterprise, Ashraf Kalam. Bachelor of Arts with Honours, Business Management, Sumin Natongo. Bachelor of Arts with Honours, Business. Bachelor of Arts with Honours, Business Management, Sana Khatoon. Bachelor of Arts with Honours, Business Management, Patrick Cross. Bachelor of Arts, Business Management, Sadia Bibi. Bachelor of Arts with Honours, Business Management, Jewel Boffy Bonnie Martin. Bachelor of Arts with Honours, Business Management, Samantha Abiri. Bachelor of Arts with Honours, Business and Marketing Management, Mohammed Kariol. Vice-Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of finalists from the Faculty of Social Sciences.
Well, congratulations, well done to everyone. We have a tradition at our graduation ceremonies of playing a short DVD, which we're now going to play. We hope you enjoy the memories.
And how long can we keep on rocking to this? No song to move our feet. Keep holding on, 'cause there ain't no stopping. The night is young and we are starting out. Small talk and romance we can do without. Follow my lead into a world unknown. We'll never have to be alone. I'll take your hand and hope that you'll take mine. Just come with me, I'll take you for a ride. We'll turn the music up and take it slow. Somewhere only we can go. And how long can we keep rocking to this? No song to move our feet. Holding on, 'cause there ain't no stopping. the rhythm of our hearts is moving with the beat. It's moving with the beat. And now I found a way to steal your heart. I'll make it so we'll never be apart. And if the story goes ahead as planned, I know that I will be a man. No holding back now, everything it's on its way. The wait is over, no more searching, cause you're here today. And you can count on me, not doubting me in any way, cause I am here to stay. How long can we keep rocking?
I should now like to call upon Ao Falana, Union Affairs, to say a few words of thanks.
Hello, everyone. I won't keep you long, as I'm sure you're all eager to celebrate with your family, friends, peers. Celebrations with I'm certain will last long into night ahead. However, I want to take this moment to express my most sincere congratulations and well wishes to you all. It is truly a wonderful thing to graduate. You should all feel very proud of yourselves and your achievements. I'm going to talk to you about three things that I've learned and hope to continue to take forward in my life. One, grasp opportunity. Everything you have is a gift. 10 years ago, while I was still living in Nigeria, I had little access to education. But here I am today as a Union Affairs officer, representing 23,000 students, which I'm privileged to do while studying for a doctorate research degree. You never know what opportunities will come your way, so grasp them. Number two, never be afraid to take risk and fail. I'll tell you something today which is not typical of a graduation speech. You're going to fail at some point, but never be afraid to fail. Don't say, I can't. Instead, ask yourself, how can I? It is through failure that we often learn the most important lessons. Three, share your talent. We all have different talent. There is joy and success in helping others. Africa needs you. Asia needs you. Europe needs you. Wolverhampton needs you. And the world needs you. We all need each other's help, talent and time and abilities. In many ways, this ceremony marks the end of an era for you all, myself included. I can truly say that the past 3 years spent studying here have been incredible in many ways, as I'm sure they've been for many of you. I hope you've had a truly fulfilling student experience, both in your field of study and the enriching opportunities outside of lectures, from volunteering and employment and to the social activities, making friendship that lasts a lifetime. We all like to thank you all for your hard work and commitment that brings you to this point. I hope that you all can look back at your time at the University of Wolverhampton with fond, joyful memories and a smile. I would now like to invite all of those who have just graduated to show their appreciation to everyone who has in one way or the other contributed to their success. Graduates, please stand and turn to offer applause to the people here who have supported you through your time at the university. Then turn back again and congratulate the dedicated staff who have supported you. Now, if you can please take your seats, and I will hand over to the chair of the ceremony. Congratulations once again.
Thanks, Ian. This marks the end of the ceremony. I hope that you've all enjoyed this special occasion, and it will be remembered as a high point of an altogether memorable day. Graduates, you are now members of our 120,000 strong global alumni community. The University of Wolverhampton would like to invite you, your families and friends to join us at our post-ceremony drinks reception in the Harrison Library in the Ambika Paul building immediately after the ceremony. I hope you continue to enjoy your day, and I wish you every success for the future. Wherever your destination is for celebration, please have a safe journey home. Guests, would you please remain in your places until the procession has left the auditorium? I now declare this ceremony closed. Please stand.